Welcome to The Explainer. All right, let's talk about something that can feel, well, a little intimidating personal finance. But forget the boring spreadsheets and confusing jargon. Today, we're going to do this a little differently. We're going to tell a story. Yeah, no abstract theories here. Instead, we're going to follow the financial journey of a character we're calling Earth. We'll see him go from his very first paycheck all the way to a secure retirement. The whole idea is to show you that this stuff is actually simple, it's relatable, and you know what? It's achievable for literally anyone. And it all kicks off with this number, 12,000 baht. Now, this is Earth's first ever salary from an internship. And yeah, I know, it might not sound like a lot, but this is the tiny seed from which his entire financial future is going to grow. Pretty cool, right?
All right, let's jump right into part one, the beginning of the journey. This is where it all starts, and honestly, it's the most crucial stage. We're going to see how a student learns to handle his very first income and builds the habits that will literally shape the rest of his life.
So what's the first thing Earth does? Does he go out and blow it all on a big celebration? Nope. The very first thing he does is sit down and create this simple but super powerful budget. He gives every single baht a job. He's tracking exactly where his money is going. And look at this. A huge chunk, 4,500 baht, is immediately set aside. Not for spending, but for saving and investing.
And it gets even smarter. Look at how he splits that savings money. He's not just stashing cash under his mattress, he's got a strategy. Part one goes into building a safety net. That's his emergency fund for when life throws a curveball. The other part, that's where he puts his money to work, starting to invest in a mutual fund to actually grow his wealth. And he's doing this even with a pretty small amount.
You know, the lesson here is so important. Financial success isn't really about how big your paycheck is. It's all about the habits you build from day one. Starting early, being disciplined, tracking your spending, and consistently investing. That is the true foundation for building wealth.
Okay, so what happens next? Let's fast forward a bit. Earth has graduated, he's landed his first real full-time job. And yeah, his income has more than doubled, which is awesome, but so have his responsibilities.
So with his new salary of 25,000 baht, he doesn't just start spending more. He levels up his strategy. He adopts this really famous framework, the 50-30-20 rule. It's so simple, but so effective. 50% for his needs, like rent and food, 30% for his wants, entertainment, shopping, the fun stuff, and a non-negotiable 20% goes straight into savings and investments. It just instantly creates structure and balance in his life. And to make his investing totally automatic and stress-free, he starts using this amazing technique called dollar cost averaging, or DCA for short. Every single month, like clockwork, he invests 5,000 baht. The real magic here, it takes all the emotion out of it. You know that classic mistake of buying high because everyone's excited and then panic selling low when the market dips? DCA just sidesteps all of that. It builds discipline and averages out his risk over the long haul. This is also when he learns a really crucial lesson about debt. And that is, not all debt is the same. There's good debt and there's bad debt. He figures out that good debt, for things like a home or his education, can actually be an investment that builds his future. But bad debt, like racking up high-interest credit card bills for fancy gadgets, yeah, that's a total wealth killer. So what's the big takeaway from this stage? It's all about building a rock-solid foundation. By using these proven rules and systematic strategies, Earth is creating a financial base that's going to support him for decades to come. It's smart, it's steady, and it works. But of course, life isn't just a solo journey, right? Things progress, and Earth gets married to his partner Mint. And this is a huge shift. We're moving from one person managing their own money to a team planning their financial future together. Now, with a combined income of 65,000 baht, what's their first move? They sit down and map out their shared dreams. They're not just vaguely hoping for the future, they're making a concrete plan with real time-bound goals. Things like building a joint emergency fund, saving for a future family, and tackling their biggest dream, buying a home. And just look at how they tackle that huge goal of buying a home. They break it right down into manageable numbers. They know the price of the house, they know exactly how much they need for a down payment, and this is key, they calculate the monthly mortgage to make sure it fits comfortably into their budget. They're not going to let their biggest asset derail all their other savings and investments. So this part of the journey really teaches us something important. When you're managing money as a couple, the numbers are only half the battle. The real keys to success,
It's all about open communication, having those shared goals, and creating a unified plan that protects the entire family from whatever comes their way.
All right, so now they have a family, they've bought their home, their careers are established, so naturally, their focus shifts again. They start looking even further down the road, really zeroing in on long-term wealth creation. We're talking about a comfortable retirement and leaving a lasting legacy.
And they don't just guess. They start with a very specific target. After crunching the numbers on what they'll need in retirement, they land on this figure, 12 million baht. That is their magic number. That's the amount they need to have saved up by the time they hit age 60 to live the life they want. You know, having that clear destination makes the whole journey so much easier to navigate. So how do they plan to hit that pretty ambitious goal? Well, they know they can't put all their eggs in one basket, so they diversify. They use an employer-matched provident fund that's basically free money for retirement. They use mutual funds for broad market growth, and they even start investing in dividend stocks to begin generating a stream of passive income. But wait, they don't stop there. They realize that relying on just their salaries is a bit risky. So what do? They start building multiple streams of income. And here is the real game changer. They don't just spend this extra cash from side hustles. Nope. They reinvest every single baht to put their wealth building on hyperdrive.
The huge lesson here is that it's all about playing the long game, but playing it smarter. You set a clear goal, you diversify your investments to manage risk, and use every single tool you can find. This includes taking advantage of tax-advantaged accounts like retirement mutual funds or super savings funds. Think of these as special accounts the government gives you to help your retirement savings grow way faster by lowering your tax bill each year. It's not just about saving, it's about saving as efficiently as humanly possible. Okay, and so we arrive at the final chapter. After decades of discipline, of consistent investing, of making smart choices, Earth and Mint have reached age 60, and they are ready. They're ready to retire. And here it is, the result of their entire lifelong journey. From that very first 12,000 baht paycheck, they have patiently built a well-diversified portfolio that's now worth over 14.5 million baht. They didn't just meet their goal, they crushed it. And more importantly, they've secured their financial independence for the rest of their lives.
You know, this quote just nails it, doesn't it? A secure and independent retirement doesn't happen by accident. Financial freedom isn't about winning the lottery or getting lucky with some hot stock pick. It's the simple but incredibly powerful result of all those consistent, deliberate choices made day after day, year after year. And that brings us to the end of Earth's story. But really, it's the beginning of a question for you. His amazing journey started with something as simple as making his first budget. So my question is this: what's the very first small step you can take today to start building your own financial future?